Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Here in my hands, my Ruger PC Carbine, which has just been a whole heck of a lot of fun. 9mm carbine takedown model, which means in essence I can split the forend off of the rest of the receiver, break it down, and bring it with me with ease. Now, that is a fantastic function, but part of the problem is, typically for me, I've been mounting my optic on the main part of the receiver, and people will say, because the forend can split off, the barrel can split off, that can lead to issues with accuracy. But today, I'm going to try something out that I think might potentially fix that problem. Because here in my hands, the Viridian Weapon Technologies RFX44. This is a closed emitter green dot that I am going to mount on the forend portion of my PC Carbine. So in today's video, we're going to go through this in detail. Now, first off, we're going to take a look at the actual optic itself. This can mount on either a handgun or a long gun. For me, I'm not quite there with the closed emitters on my handguns. And I shouldn't worry about looks. I just can't stand the way that boxy closed emitter looks on the handgun, so I'm still running open reflex sights, but I definitely have come to love green dots, and Viridian is a master when it comes to green. And so after we get this mounted on the rifle, we'll take it out to the range, we'll work on getting it zeroed in, and then I'll have my overall impressions. We'll come back to the studio and I'll give you my final thoughts. And so with that said, I have a whole bunch to do and a whole bunch to share with you. And if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about what I'm about to get into, do me a favor, stay tuned. Now, before we get too far, I would like to say thank you very much to the people at Viridian who did provide this for review. And if you like what you see here today, do me a favor, take a look in the description box below where you can get all of the relevant details for where you can find the RFX44. Whenever possible, I put affiliate links and discount codes. That greatly helps the channel. It might save you a few bucks and it gets yourself a wonderful optic. So again, if you like what you see here today, do me a favor and take a look in the description box below. And so again, as we get into this here, the RFX44 closed emitter green dot reflex sight. So in other words, the closed emitter, well, this has glass on both the front and the back. It's more of that box style versus an open reflex sight. As you see here with the specifications, getting into this real quick, one thing that's going to be fantastic about this, the auto and instant on and auto off. So the instant on will turn on when you lift up the actual firearm. That will get this thing up and running nice and fast, which is awesome. The mount here, the Acro footprint, 30,000 hours of runtime with a 1632 battery, which is pretty typical. The objective lens, 21 by 16.5 millimeters. This comes with all the tools that you need. 6061 aluminum, hard coat anodized. Basically, this has an IPX6 water resistant rating. They say this can run between -4 Fahrenheit and 130 degrees Fahrenheit. Overall weight, 1.7 ounces or 48 grams, 5 MOA dot size. Again, it's green and the auto off will kick in after 2 minutes. And so to me, this is going to be just about the perfect offering for most things that I'm trying to do with my rifle. Could you put this on the handgun? Yes, you most certainly could. But for me, again, it's just the way it looks, just being all boxy. And again, I should not really worry overall about looks over function, but I'll just have to get there. So you can see as we get into it here, cleaning cloth, sticker. So actually pretty nice little sticker. That's going to go right on my mirror. VIP membership card. Quick start guide and mounting instructions, 25% off discount code, which is pretty cool, and the emitter itself. So again, the RFX44. Now keep in mind the fact that there's also the RFX45, which is going to be a larger version of this. Actually has a slightly larger window, not in terms of the height, but in terms of the width and a little more length. But this to me is going to be a nice compact unit that if I choose to try this on my handguns, I could certainly do so. But it's also going to be nice and compact where if it sits on the front of my rifle, then it's not going to take up too much space. And even if I break it down with that breakdown version and takedown version of the Ruger PC Carbine, this will also work extremely well for those needs. It does come with the battery, so again, a 1632. Very nice little tool here. This is perfect. Put it in your range bag. Not only will this be useful for the Viridian sights, but other sights as well. So nice little tool. I like that. Actually comes with 2 batteries, so that's pretty cool. I like that. So already providing a spare. And this does come with the low mount. Now you can order this optic with a number of different configurations. I specifically asked for the low mount because to me, that's going to be the average that I need. However, I also asked for the high mount, and I thought today would be a nice opportunity to take a look at this and compare both the low mount and high mount options. Now, I don't know if I'm going to really retain the ability to see my iron sights. I'm hoping that's going to be the case, but again, here as we get into this, you see this also does come with the sticker, that VIP card, and here the high mount, which this is a beautiful mount. This is really super nice, and you can see how the optic will mount right on top of here. This goes on the pick rail, nice spring loaded, has your tension adjustment. Very, very nice. So in terms of my setup here, I should be in pretty good shape and definitely having some flexibility. Now again, the RFX44, a closed emitter. So inside the glass is the emitter. You can see here that beautiful aluminum housing, nicely sculpted, everything sculpted very well. One of the great benefits about this particular shape and size is the fact that they did manage to get the battery mounted on top, which is awesome. So, I mean, it's not on the bottom. It's definitely nice being on top, and many of these actually mount on the side, so getting it to the top is really pretty sweet, and you'll notice it did still manage to stay nice and flat. You end up with your elevation and windage adjustment, so here on the side, your windage, on the top here, elevation. You can see it does leverage that flat screwdriver, so we will do that in the field. You end up ultimately with the ability to adapt this a couple of different ways, and you can see right away that this has a little bit of a key in there which locks right into the mount, so we will try this a couple of different ways. Generally speaking, very clear in terms of the actual glass. You'll see as I put my hand in front, extremely clear, and not only is it extremely clear, it has no bluing whatsoever. So you'll see here, my hand actually maintains the exact same skin tone from really outside of the lens and through the lens. So again, nice and clear and absolutely no bluing. And so the first thing I did was mounted a nice chunk of rail here. Now I certainly could have got away with a smaller piece, but this is what I have on hand. And the nice thing about this particular piece of rail is it is cut out. So that does a nice job allowing me to still look right down the rail and get on my iron sights, which is cool. So the first question I have is, well, what if I was to mount the low mount? I could go in a couple of different locations. I could certainly go sort of mid. I could push it a little bit forward. So just a little bit of experimentation here will go a long way. And right away, I can tell you that the low mount does get in the way of my iron sights. So that would be the reason to try the high sights. But the high mount too also does get in the way. It would have otherwise worked, but if you take a look in the middle here, you'll see this high mount does have a large bar, and that bar is what is actually, you know, giving the strength and rigidity to the bottom of the mount. And unfortunately, that does get right in the way of my iron sights, at least on this model. I could probably get some flip-up sights if I wanted to and kind of get in the middle here in that nice open window. But what that means is at this point, it doesn't really matter whether or not I go with the high mount or the low mount. At this point, it's really about the height of the optic to my actual line of sight. And so now at this point with the low mount, I do think the low mount seems just about right as you take a look at it here, actually mounting up really nicely. Again, you know, in the future, I could certainly lose a little chunk of this rail and that would clean things up. But at this point, that is nicely located and I would say about the perfect spot. I mean, in reality, when I grab onto this, my hands just barely clear all that. Allows me to pull the rifle real nice, seat it into my pocket, and just mount the weapon really, really nicely. This feels great. As I get a quality cheek weld, and actually an actual cheek weld, not a chin weld here, but a cheek weld, I am looking right down and through the middle of the optic, literally perfectly and comfortable. So to me at this point, this does seem to be about the proper height, so I'm gonna leave it like this for now. So now I'm gonna get the battery mounted here, just leveraging, I thought it was a quarter. Oh, that's awesome. That's like a $50. Let's see if this even works. Yeah, good old $50. That's funny. I don't even know how I got this or why it's in my change jar. But regardless, we're going to use this anyway. So nice threads on that battery cap. And at the point where, at this point, pretty simple. 1632. I'm going to put this down into place with the words facing up. And you'll see as we look at this here, it has just kind of a couple little spots where it just grabs onto that battery, so it almost has like a little brass collar on the inside. And now returning the cover nice and tight back into place. Before I do, just checking the dot real quick, which is on, so I got that all right. And there you go. So you see, in place nicely. This is now on, and we're in a pretty good spot. It's time to start getting this dialed in. Now, as I start to get this dialed in, I will leverage a laser cartridge to help me get this into alignment. That's one of the things that I like to do at home. I can get out just about 30 feet, and getting out 30 feet starts to make sure that at least when I start getting this dialed in at the range, I've already put in a little bit of time here. It saves me ammo, it saves me time. So the laser bore cartridge with the green dot in combination will work out very well. My laser cartridge is red. The green dot is green. I love that. Keeps it super simple and allows me to get things nice and tight. But now as I look downrange, no problem if I want to dial the intensity right on the side. Intensity up and down. Very simple. Bump it up, bump it down. It's actually right in a great spot for my thumb. I can just reach up and press the buttons. Once I get used to it, I just need to remember that forward is up and rear is down. So just, again, if I'm, in that shooting position, I can just reach up with my thumb and I can dial in the brightness. That's going to be nice. So we're going to get this dialed in. At this point, my shot is low. Getting on the elevation adjustment here. Let's check this. So I need to bring my shot up. So I'm going counterclockwise. Little bit audible and definitely tactile. Click, 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 click. So that was 5 clicks there. Let's just see what we get. Just kind of playing with this. Still low, which I'm not surprised. Usually it takes a lot more adjustment when you're off by inches. I mean, I'm like 4 inches low. There is no indication of how many really MOA per click. I'm not too sure, so it's just going to be an experiment. So at this point, I've done 5. Let's just keep going. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Getting closer. That's up to 25 clicks here. Getting closer. 40 got this pretty close, like almost perfect in terms of elevation. Windage, I'm too far to the right, so I need to bring my shot left. So in other words here, I am basically going to go clockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10. Almost perfect. Minor refinement here, and we're good to go. So now let's hit the range. And so, all right, guys, there you have it. A look at the Viridian Weapon Technologies RFX44. All in all, I have to say that was very enjoyable. At this point, I mean, I'm still a novice. I'm getting better. I have fairly decent experience, but I'm still growing, and this is one of the best optics experiences I've had yet. This has been awesome. I love this. First off, it fits my rifle very well. It's compact, it's not too large, has a nice window, easy to see, so easy just to look right down, no problem, just right on that dot with ease. There's not too much in the way of frame. Even though the top looks chunky, it really doesn't get in the way, and especially when it's set so far forward, it actually worked out perfect. Able to just relax, two eyes open, look straight through. Target acquired, which is awesome. I mean, that's one of the things that I've absolutely been working on, is trying to be less and less, I would say, more optic acquired or sight acquired and more target acquired. And with the nice green dot, you can absolutely do that. So focusing right past the optic, all the way down to the target and just getting on it, relaxing, paying attention, then focusing on your trigger finger, little bit of breath in the squeeze. And I have to say, and again, I mean, not perfect, but that was some of the best shooting I've done yet. So that makes me feel good and just enjoy it. So all in all, this went very well. In the future, will I try that high-rise mount? Probably. I should probably experiment with it a little bit. But this was comfortable. It fit me perfect. It was exactly what I needed it to be. So in a way, kind of, why would I mess with a great thing? Functionally, very, very good. In terms of durability, of course, I cannot speak to that. Time will tell how this will last. Time will tell how long the battery lasts. The overall performance, I definitely like the buttons. That was really easy, just right on the side, up and down, dialing it in, brighter, dimmer, as I needed. I did find I could bring the brightness way down, which allowed me to look right through that dot, get a nice image right on my target, and then again, as I mentioned, focus on my technique and trying to get a shot directly on target. Bench rested, awesome, and even handheld. Even though this rifle is a little bit heavy, just taking my time trying to get on target and getting some pretty nice shots. So from 25 yards, 50 yards, and 100 yards, not too bad. Excellent results. So to the people at Viridian, very nicely done. Thank you so much for providing this for review. And for the rest of you, if you like this content, do me a favor. Take a look at my Outer Limitless channel, which is more on my primary gear. On that channel, I cover everything from hiking, camping, and backpacking excursions, all the gear that goes with it. So from sleep systems, shelter systems, knives, axes, backpacks, flashlights, you name it. That's my Outer Limitless YouTube channel. So all right, guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. Oh, so nice. I'll see you soon.